and not buffer. Whoop. I don't know what all the buttons do. Are we back? We're back. Yay! Okay. I have to go. Let me see. I'm gonna look at the old one and see what the list was. I was on Katrina, and then Nancy, and Chanela, and Lydia, and then Regine had one more. Okay. All right, are we ready, SpaghettiOs? Katrina, are you here? Let's see, who's here? Chanela, do you want to ask your question, or I don't know if Nancy is here. And then whenever Katrina comes back, I can do hers. Oh, there's Katrina. Okay. So this is what I was getting for your reading. I felt like, am I buffering still? I want to give her, since Katrina's here, I want to go ahead and give her the reading like that I was getting. So I felt like, I'm so annoyed that I can't find my rock. The different one. I felt like your guide said get your shit together. So sorry, maybe I shouldn't swear on the first like 10 minutes or whatever. So it was sort of this idea of like getting it together, getting your act together. Like it's go time is what they said. So it's a feeling, it felt around like work and dreams, following your successes and things like that. So this idea that you have to put the work in now. You can't keep delaying or procrastinating. That was the feeling I got. I think that you would even say that to a friend. You would be like, get your shit together. And that's what they're saying. Like, this is the week for you to do that. You have to get it done now. It's like, it's time. It's shit or get off the pot time. Literally said those things to me. So I'm like, oh, okay, interesting. Time to shit or get off the pot. You can see all my cards down there. So that's what they're telling you for this week. So does that resonates when you're saying that? And I mean, I think there might be some decluttering and things around the house, but I really feel like it's more of just like you've been procrastinating and sitting around and like maybe hawing it and feeling like, oh, well, I don't know. What is the universe going to tell me? And they're sort of like, just go do the work. No, I feel like it's this week is to start job hunting and preparing. Some of that could be just something's opening up this week, that kind of a feeling. I mean, there's a lot of people do what I call like help seeking, help rejecting behavior, and they call it that in therapy. But like people will come here and ask me questions. They're like, well, when's all this going to happen? It's like, stuff is just not going to fall in your lap, really and truly. Like for the majority of us, we have to physically go out there and put ourselves out there or do the things that we need to do. You know, like, I mean, yes, my aunt married her contractor, so literally her husband showed up on her doorstep. That's not the norm. Um, Opowamiwe? I can't say your name. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. It's I'm not familiar. Um, these are paid readings, and I just switched over. I can't do the description the way I want to. A 500 donation, a $500 donation. What? Hi Queenie, I'm glad you found us again. But I had to, my computer was buffering. I don't know why. It says that I have 3 bars or whatever on the Wi-Fi, but it wasn't connecting. Why would you want to do a $500 donation? If someone, because I don't know how to type, let me see, maybe I can do it. Let me see if it'll let me do it. Nope. I don't know how to type in the chat. Hi, Catherine. Why? Okay, but why? I mean, the skeptical me is like, yeah, that just sounds a little fishy. I mean, I get that I'm a psychic medium, but and maybe some people think that's like a schmarmy thing, but you're a YouTuber, but why would you choose me? Like, tell me your shtick. I've never heard of you, so tell me your thing. Like, how do you choose somebody? I know, I don't mean to be like so, but if something, you know, it's like that idea of like, if it sounds too good to be true, probably is. And I always feel like there's some attachment to something. I did not read you. No, not yet. No, sir. I see there's an Eric Farrell who has 3 subscribers. And that couldn't be you. That would be weird. And there's an Eric Farrell who has 4 subscribers. I don't think that could be you. And there's the makeup artist. I don't know. So I was in the middle of speaking though to Oppo. So they're $12 and then I donate 30% to the Community Food Bank of New Jersey. Would one of my regulars please type in my PayPal? Because I don't know how to do it from my phone. Let me see, maybe I can join it on my computer. Turn my volume off so it won't make a crazy noise. Let's go to my channel and see if I can join the live. Yes, let's do that. Let's join the live. And see if I can just type it in here. Oh, I can. Interesting. So weird. Okay. Let me find my description. Okay, there, I pinned it, so that works. Look at that, multitasking. Okay, so Katrina, does that resonate when I say that to you? Oh, that is an angle. Let me pull this closer so you don't see my stomach. Oh shit. Okay. Let me just aim that up. Now I can see what you guys see. Okay. Yay. Yeah, I just figured I should just put it on. Now I have to like not look at myself in this angle over here. You're welcome, Katrina. Okay, so let's see. Now, Nancy, are you here? Do I see you renting a new home in the next couple of months? I have 2 places to see this coming week in the area I want to live in. I feel like you'll find a place in September, but it's weird. I feel like there's this like, I'm like, oh, and then you would like move in October, and I feel like this like gap. So are you planning on actually moving in November? I feel like one of the places you're going to stay today either has like water damage or something that you're going to notice. And the other place I feel like don't like the management or like you don't get a good vibe on the management or the landlord. It's interesting, so I can see out of the corner of my eye on my screen how delayed it is, and I'm like, it's weird. It's maybe like a 15-second delay. Nancy, does it resonate? Can you guys hear me? Should I don't think I have my mic down here. September through the end of the year. Okay, so I don't know what this is where I feel like there's something about September, and I don't know what this is where I feel like there's this gap in October, and then it's like it's hidden from me. I can't see October, and then November seems important again. I don't think that you're going to love the places that you go to see today. I have to be honest with you. I do see you, when I see you renting, it's like I see a lot of trees around and a balcony, or there's something about us like a second story. So I don't know if you're looking at a house or looking at, you know, a condo or a townhome or something like that. And it feels warm and cozy, not cold and modern. Not that modern has to be cold, but it has a pitched roof, so it's not like a flat roof. It has a pitched roof. I see a lot of trees around, so maybe it's near a park. Y'all, when I started asking Eric Farrell and questioning him and all of that stuff, all of a sudden he got real quiet. think he thinks that I think people look at my face and think, oh, she's gullible. But my grandfather was in organized crime, and I feel like it just gets pushed down to you, like, genetically. Do you know what I mean? Like, where you're just like, oh no, I see a con when I don't know. Is there something with the name, like, so I saw specifically like pine trees. So is there something with it could either mean literally like there's going to be pine trees around it, or the name of the neighborhood or whatever is Pine something, or the name of the street is Pine something, or something Pine. Okay, Chanela, what is your, Chanela. I started to make it like I was like Spanish and be like, Chanela. Pasio. Rose. Oh, I'm back. Oh, I'm back. Do I see any improvement in your love life for the rest of the year? It's been treacherous for some time now. I'm not laughing at you. It's just, I have said for a while that like basically our world is going through big shifts, especially for men. It's like men are having a come to Jesus moment. And I just feel like because of patriarchy, they've been able to coast for so long and not really have to, and not because they're like, but because that's what patriarchy sort of instills, is like men not having to connect with emotions and processing things, and patriarchy is just very toxic for everybody. So there's this like growth period they're going through, and growth period women are going through. It's kind of trash right now, but I also feel like you're not really putting yourself out there. End of October into like that month period, and end of November, like from that month period, I feel like you really start kind of putting yourself out there. I don't want to say like, oh, you're softening your energy, but I feel like you're doing work right now that's working on self-concept work, and something happens within that time period from now to like, did I say the end of October, where you're standing in your power, but in like a less warrior way and a more graceful way. And not to be like, you should just smile through it, but it becomes more comfortable, right? That ability to be who you are becomes so much more comfortable, and the ability to just have like no F's to give, and the ability to say no without feeling like I need to like, explain to you why my no is no, and like really make sure you understand why my no is no, where it becomes softer and more, it's a bigger confidence where you're just like, yeah, you're just like, no, it's cool. And like walking. I don't know if that resonates at all, but it just feels like that's when you kind of put yourself out there, and it's like this, you have such a, like a, like an air, like this aura of confidence that's so different than you've had before, where you don't feel like you have to fight for that power. It's just, you just own it. You've been working on healing myself from a toxic relationship, and I've stopped over explaining myself too. Yeah. And I feel like though you're just finally like, yeah, I just don't, that's like not for me. And you're not, I don't even feel like you need to like explain to somebody why that's not for you anymore. You're just like, yeah, that's cool. Go on, be on your way. There's no, I don't want to be like, oh, you're angry, because I feel like that angry woman trope is so old, but it's just a different way of holding your power, and it's done more comfortably with ease. And I think that sort of happens when you start doing the work. I have fun. Like, I know a lot of people are like, it's not fun. It's like hard. It's like, I don't know. I don't think hard means that things can't be fun. I don't think that shedding tears and like breaking down a little bit doesn't mean that something isn't fun. I think maybe I'm a little masochistic in that way, but like, I think doing the work of looking at your belief systems and looking at where stuff comes from and healing that and like learning to stand in your authentic power is fun. Because I'm always like, oh, that's really interesting that I held that belief for so long and it came from there. I'm like, how silly is that? Right? Or going through the crying and be like, wow, and the empathy that you learn to have for yourself as you're healing. I guess maybe during the process isn't that great, but I sort of think it's fun. I think it's juicy and interesting. And I think when you do that work and you get to the other side of it, you just learn to like be like, this is who I am, unapologetically. And sometimes boundaries don't even have to be stated. It's like, oh, I can see who this idiot is, and he's like not going to be respectful, and I don't even need to waste my time on it. Because it feels like, because I keep saying the explain thing, it's like maybe you spent a lot of years feeling like you needed to explain and made sure somebody needed to understand, and we're like sort of done that. So Gabrielle, I didn't do your reading yet. I saved it to the end because I was like going to email you and tell you what time it was going to be at. No worries, Lydia. It's your turn now. You're very welcome. I hope it's helpful for you. And I'm excited for you because that journey is pretty amazing. Okay, so for the health readings, because that takes, general health is like, well, I mean, for a whole year is a whole reading. It's not a $12 reading. I don't mean to be rude, but like, it's not a $12 reading. It did buffer for a minute, Alf. That's like, so if you want me to look at a certain area, but like a whole year is like a long time. So, I mean, that can include, hormonal changes, and it can include viruses, and like, so can we narrow that shit? Like, that's big. I'm going to do Alf's first, actually, because he actually paid for a reading a while ago and then never really responded. And so I'm just going to, Alf, what do you want me to look at for you? Because you said you were dizzy and then you're on testosterone, but like, what do you want me to like focus in on? Okay, Alf. So for Lydia, that's also like for when you're like generally for a whole year. So reword it or figure out a way to what you really want to know. Because sometimes when somebody asks a question in that like specific thing, and I can tell you this from when I was too afraid to ask the question I really wanted to know, I'd ask it really generally and then I'd be like, oh, I hope they tell me what I want to know. But like, sometimes they don't. Like I'm pulling from, so if you specifically want to know, like, look, I'm looking at this thing. It's, when people are like, so can you tell me about my love life? But really they want to know specifically about this one person. Like maybe they'll just tell me that that person's going to turn around and be like the most amazing thing ever to me. And then they're like, yeah, like nothing's happening for you. It's like, you're going to be disappointed. You're not getting what you want. So ask for what you want. Gabrielle, for you, because I know you wanted like a general, and I don't mind doing like a general reading of like the energy right now, because that to me is like, it's so specific to time. That doesn't bother me. But when you're like, give me a whole year, I'm like, show me where my life is gonna be in like for the next 10 years. Like that's a lot to sift through. Gabrielle, I heard cat's got your tongue, cat's got your tongue, cat's got your tongue. So it's the idea that you're not speaking up for yourself. You're holding back from sharing something, and again, it feels like that energy of like, because you don't want to hurt somebody's feelings, you don't want to offend somebody, but it's really creating dis-ease within you that you're not sharing and you're not speaking up for yourself. Hi, Allie. You're cooking with your chicken, or you're cooking chicken? Okay. I've been having episodes of my vision going black, and I shake very bad and get headaches because of it, and the hospital said it's not counted as seizures. Okay, this is not the psychic in me talking. This is like the nurse in me talking. You're gonna go and get, you need to get an appointment with a neurologist and get a workup and get an EEG done and an MRI done. And if he's like, well, that's not what it is, you're going to say, these are these things. And you're going to make sure that they're drawing all of your, your labs, and making sure like an A1C, making sure your blood sugar is okay. Maybe this is partly intuition, because I don't know, like making sure your blood sugar is okay, making sure, an A1C will tell you like not just in the moment what your blood sugar is, but sort of like what it's been for, I think it's like the last 3 months roughly. And you're going to go to a neurologist and they're going to do a full workup. And if they say like, I'm not going to do that workup, the hospital said this, blah, 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 then you're going to say, I want you to chart that. I want you to chart that you're refusing this. And if they're like, well, it couldn't be seizures, then you're going to also ask this question: what is your differential diagnosis? If it's not that, you tell me and let's work up for that then. Yeah, but that might not cause that. So did they do an EEG? Did they do an MRI? Did they do a CT? Did they do any kind of scans or look at your brain in any way whatsoever? Because if they didn't, you're gonna go find yourself a neurologist. If you have to go to your general first and ask for a referral, then you do that. But that's what you should be working on. And if they're like, well, it's not that, and they're very dismissive, you're going to say, I want you to chart that I'm having concerns. I want you to chart that I'm asking for tests to be done. And I want you to give me your differential diagnosis. You should definitely try and get that arranged. And also, if they have they done an A1C on you? Because you can't have symptoms like that where you're having a headache and vision issues, because to me that's neurological. And shaking, like something's going on, and that's not to be dismissed. And it's interesting that they, like, what made them say it's not seizures? Did they do any sort of workup on you, or they just decided it wasn't? Yeah. What did you just go to the emergency room and they didn't do any sort of like, hi Kiki. I'm just really annoyed and angry because I like so baffled that how do you go, well, that's not a seizure. Could be. There's all different kinds of seizures. So the other thing you can do is call like patient relations. You've had seizures and those are symptoms. I've been on meds since 2002. Yeah, I mean, they are like, so find a neurologist if, or go to a different hospital when you're getting worked up and say like, these are the things that have happened. This is what's going on. And but there's more than one doctor out there. There's more than one hospital out there. But I would definitely go to a neurologist and get a workup. And if they dismiss you, you're going to say, I want you to write it down that I'm requesting these tests, that I'm very concerned about my health. And usually that gets you what you want. Or asking for a differential diagnosis when it starts to challenge what their thought process. And you can also call and complain to patient relations that you went in, you had these, and you were dismissed, and you're very concerned. It just starts to kind of sound some alarm bells. Alf, what am I looking at for you health-wise? Like, is that what you're looking at, or what are you, you want just a general short-term reading? It's not the wrong question to ask. Really and truly, you felt called to come to me, and I'm not there. I've seen medical mediums give people crazy things to do. I'm telling you, you came to me because I'm going to tell you these are the things you need to do to navigate the system. And that's what you really need. And I would be remiss to sit there and say, like, I'm telling you what you're telling me feels very concerning. It might be a blood sugar issue, but it feels concerning and like it should be addressed. And so this is the way you need to work the system to get what you need. And I'm not trying to scare you or be like, I'm glad you came here and asked that question. I'm glad you were specific about it that way, because I don't know that there's any other medical mediums out there that know how to like ask the questions to get you what you need and the route that you need to go to get you the care that you need. Not that I'm like, look at me, but it's like, I've been in that system. I know how to ask questions to doctors to get, like, if I know my patient needs an order, I know how to get them to get me that order. And without telling them what to do, it's just, like I had a doctor once who my patient was sitting in bed at rest and her heart rate was 125 at rest because she had just delivered a baby and she lost a lot of blood. And so her body was compensating, and he tried to like sit there and say to me, oh, well, that's her body compensating. I said, that's right. And so you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to just chart that I let you know, I informed you, and that I received no orders. And then he quickly gave me an order for fluids, which is what she needed. You're not being crazy. It is something that should be addressed. If it turns out to be nothing, fabulous. I'm so happy for you. And yet that's still something that should be addressed. We have a lot of people, we've got private equity trying to gobble up all of medicine and make as much money as they can, and everybody just trying to like hoard, and instead of like medical care, is it's a right. It's not a privilege, and we should have access to it. I don't know where you're at, if you're even here, but you're not crazy. You're not, it's not something that you should just like let go. It's very concerning, and it should be addressed. Alf, you don't feel like your doctors want to send you for a checkup? For you, Alf, I feel like, I don't know if you have like a low ferritin level or low iron, but I feel like maybe that might be an issue. something to ask your doctors about? That might be a part of your dizziness. Patricia, these are paid readings. Did you pay for a reading? Hang on, let me see. And they're $12. I donate 30% to the Community Food Bank of New Jersey. You're welcome, Lydia. You have low iron. I think that's what your dizziness is. But part of me is wondering, like, why the low iron, right? So is there low iron because are you having like a bleed somewhere? You had high testosterone. Have they checked your, like, I don't know what tests what the labs are called for the prostate, but have you had that checked? Thank you for saying that, Sharon. No. It'd be worth kind of investigating that. I mean, I don't. Patricia, no, I don't work for free. There are times where I might, but I don't work for free. I think it's an energetic exchange, and spiritual or not, it's still work. And this is not, I don't consider what I do a gift. I consider it a skill. I have a lot of natural ability, but I've worked for years and years and years to hone it. And I don't work for free. And I certainly don't ever ask anybody else to work for free either. There could be a bleed or something, but I just keep feeling it's like the dizziness is from low iron, and I feel like there's a cause within your body. Like, I don't feel like it's, so my husband had low ferritin at a point, and I did, like, I'm the research bug, and I was like, well, your doctor's not concerned about it all? He didn't put you on iron? Like, he's like, no. And I'm like, well, that's stupid. And so then I just started looking, and I was like, it kind of came to me intuition-wise to look at tea, and he drank a lot of green tea. And if you drink a lot of green tea, it can actually lower your ferritin level. And that kind of came to me because my cousin had mentioned to me something about drinking a lot of, she had drinking a ton of tea. Like, that's all she ever drank. She never drank regular water. And that she ended up having, like, it actually caused her some bone density issues. She does all these, her and her husband are fairly well off, and they do all these, like, body scans every so often to figure out where their muscle mass is and bone density and all of that stuff. And like that actually improved once she stopped drinking tea. So he stopped drinking tea and his ferritin levels went up and he was fine. But I just feel like for you, I would ask him specifically to, like, figure out where that's coming from, feeling like your iron's low, because I feel like you do need iron. And I feel like it's I keep seeing it as like an old bleed. So it's like, so when you look at old bleeds or bleeds that are higher up in the gastric system, you're going to look at, like, black tarry stools, that kind of thing. Hey, Regine, did you come back? Are you still here? Did you want your second question? And I normally do quick card pulls for everybody, but I think I'm going to skip it today because I'm just feeling a little like I probably need to eat something. I'm just feeling a little yucky right now. What's your second question? Hi, Kat's Readings. How are you? You're welcome, Gabrielle. I'm glad you did too. I'm okay. What do I need to know this week? But that is not so worrying, I think. Thanks for the reading. You're welcome. To do a real medical reading, I need to like sit in your energy and do like the whole, where I basically do a head to toe body scan. But I just keep getting something like an old bleed or something like that. And it can be concerning if you have low iron levels and stuff like that. So, I don't know. I would never ever say don't go to the doctor. Like, I think you should go and push a little bit more. And if they don't want to do anything, you ask the questions. You're going to say like, can you please write that in my chart that I have a concern about it and you're not doing anything? That usually is enough to get them to go, okay. Because down the line, if something goes wrong and they didn't test for it, it sets them up for medical malpractice and negligence. And they don't want to do that. Kat's Readings, these are not free. The list is closed right now, but they're not free readings. They're $12 a reading, which is super cheap. And I donate 30% to the Community Food Bank of New Jersey. And I have the PayPal pinned, but I'm going to just finish up with Regine and I'm going to go because I'm kind of not feeling that great right now. So, all right. And normally I do, at the end of these, I'll do like a free card reading for people that are here. I'm like pull a free card, like I have a ton of Oracle decks, but I'm not doing that today because I don't feel very good. And I kind of want to just go figure out if I need to eat or whatever. Great. Thank you for understanding. I do it as subscribed because it's a way to get people to subscribe to your channel. I started doing that because my numbers were not going up and I'm not on here enough. And so it was like trying to, work the system because, I think it's funny when people say things like when you see people like on social media, when you post things and they're like, you got your likes and subscribes and stuff. It's like, well, yeah, but like, what's the point? Like, we live in a capitalistic society. People want to make money. So my bills have to be paid too. Okay. Thank you so much, Kat. Okay. So, Regine, you want to know for the week? What do you need to know for the week? What do you need to know for this week? I feel like this week is going to go by really fast for you because I heard time flies when you're having fun. So it's a good week. It's not a bad week. I actually feel like this is going to be a good week. You're going to have either a growth in your numbers and subscribers or like a big growth in the number of people that are getting private readings from you and wanting to do like actually pay you. I do keep getting go outside the box of doing the yes or no cards. And I think that's the part of the trust part that you need to go with a little bit more is trust that you're actually getting it and work with what you're getting. The worst that's going to happen is you're wrong. Nobody's 100% ever, but you like when you're doing intuitive work, you're learning a new language and you're creating that new language. And so you're putting symbols to it and feelings to it and sounds and everything else. And sometimes you're going to interpret it wrong, but most of the time you're not. And the only way that you stretch and grow in developing that language and trusting it is by getting bold and just sharing what you get. Okay, so for me, if that is a comfort level for answering pregnancy questions. That's a comfort level. I don't mind answering them, but I feel really comfortable doing that. Like, I always think it's funny when people have so many rules around, like they won't answer legal questions or law. I'm like, well, what are you answering then? Like, you have like this whole list of the things what are you answering then? So I try to answer all of them. I just also look at time frame. Like, I don't mind answering the medical questions, but I also like, I don't want to do a whole body scan on you. Like, where you're like, well, what's wrong with me? Well, I don't, like, point me in a direction and help me narrow it down so I know what I'm focusing on, because that's a big energy drain, and most people you're not paying enough for me to do all that work. Not here, not on, like, not when I do, you know what I mean? Like in an email reading, that's like, you got to do a full reading if you want to do that. I think boundaries are good, but like, if you're not comfortable doing the pregnancy readings, then don't do them. I don't think it's unethical. I think that you need to recognize that, like, first of all, I have it here. You can't really say it. I need to get color letters, but for entertainment purposes only. And that is the part that you need to have, because that protects you legally. I am a reverend in the Spiritualist Church, and doing readings and passing along messages from Spirit is part of my religious practice. So I'm sort of like umbrella protected under that, but I still do it for entertainment purposes only, because, you know, I don't think you need to work or practice the way anybody else practices. I think you need to practice in the way that feels in alignment with who you are as a person, and also be smart about it. Legally cover your ass. And if you feel like I answer the medical questions, I have a medical background, so the part that I feel really comfortable in, and I see a lot of other medical readers, I'm like, ooh, that seems so highly unethical and so inappropriate, and so like, where they don't say like, well, this is what I feel you could do in conjunction. This is the direction I think you should push your doctor into when you're like looking at, this is what I'm feeling. And, you know, but I don't know, that's my comfort level. I would not recommend doing medical readings for you, because you're just starting out. I didn't do them as starting out. I think, you know, but the pregnancy one is like, well, if people are like, am I going to get pregnant? I don't know. Is that unethical? Is it any different than asking if someone's going to get into a relationship? And you can always say, like, please remember, I'm not always 100%. Please remember, for entertainment purposes only. And make sure you're posting that when you're doing your readings, for entertainment purposes only. Because places like New York have, I don't know, and I think Pennsylvania has it too, have fortune telling laws. And you can get into big trouble for practicing without having that. So make sure you have for entertainment purposes only. Make sure you're filing taxes and you're reporting all of your earned and your income. Like, always practice on the up and up. Put the energy in your business and what the work that you do with integrity, because that does stay with you. Like, you'll attract the right kind of clients. You'll attract the right kind of people around you when you move with integrity. I think it's unethical to answer death and dying questions. Like, when people are like, when are they going to die? Or when am I going to die? I think that's super unethical and inappropriate. I think the way some of the people read is really unethical, where it's like, they'll just answer yes or no questions. I feel like that's unethical, and that it's like not helpful in any way whatsoever. Not that I'm saying like you, but there's people who, like, I see you spending time and being thoughtful and talking about it, but there's people on there who will just literally go, yes, no, yes, no. And I feel like that's so inappropriate. And they're getting paid for it. It's so weird. Because I feel like it feeds people in a really, like, when you understand that people are coming for readings when they feel they're most vulnerable, and they're very concerned about things. Like, people do not come to readings for me when they're super happy and everything's perfect. And so then when you don't practice with that idea of like understanding that somebody's coming to you and they're allowing you into their energetic space, and they're doing that in a moment of being vulnerable, and you don't honor that, that's a lot of garbage you're pulling in. So I will say I had a client who emailed me, and she's somebody I used to work with, so I'm not like, but she's got a loved one that's wasn't doing well. I don't know if he's still here or not, and I'm not reaching out energy right now, but like, but he's, you know, on his journey to crossing over, and she was like, you know, when is he going to die? And not because you know, there's a lot of other pressures and stuff, and so I gave her information about going to get on FMLA and getting out, you know, taking time off of work because this is a lot, and like how to go about this so she's not feeling like, you know, so overwhelmed. And then instead of saying like, well, this is when he's going to die, because honestly, if you know when somebody's going to die, it doesn't help the grieving process. Whether they're on hospice or whatever, it does not ever help the grieving process. It doesn't help you prepare anymore because you will still be grieving, right? But what I did say was like, I think this is what I'm showing will happen first, second, and third, like when it's getting close. So I saw like kidneys starting to shut down and blood in the urine and things like that. Like that would be his process when she would know the time was near. So. Okay, it froze for a minute. And okay, so I think I'm back. Anyways, so that's my advice. And I'm gonna say goodnight. Is everybody well? Is everybody okay with that? I bounce out of here? Please don't forget to hit the likes and all of that stuff. All right then. Have a wonderful week, everybody.